The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Star Sport podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Hurley, and I'm joined today, as always, by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. The Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose credit union, choose local, choose community. Now, later on in the show, we will be joined by Philip Murphy after Bandon Grammar School won the Munster Junior Schools Cup title after they beat Christian Brothers College in their recent final. But first, we'll look at some main stories that happened in West Cork sport over the last few days, and there were quite a few of them and quite a few good stories, so we'll get cracking into those right now. We'll start off with a big story in Gaelic game circles. Skibbereen Community School won the All-Ireland Senior A Schools LGFA title. They beat Loretto from Cavan in recent days by 2-10 to 3-6. I mean, Kieran, what a brilliant achievement for the school that comprises of players from clubs like Castlehaven, O'Donovan Rossa, Island Rovers, Ty McCorrick, Clonagale. It's just a brilliant West Cork story for a brilliant West Cork school.
It's such a positive story, Matthew, and like you mentioned the clubs there, like this isn't just a Skibbereen success story. It's all those kind of clubs in that kind of greater Skibbereen region. So it's almost to put it in context. It's 34 years since St. Fochness de la Salle won the Hogan Cup for the first and only time, and those young teens became kind of local legends after that. And what this team from Skibbereen Community School have done is they've won the ladies Gaelic football equivalent of that. It's a Senior A schools football title, so it's the biggest schools football title in the land, you know. And you've a Skibbereen Community School team bringing it back to West Cork, which is just an incredible achievement. And it's even the manner of the victory, Matthew. We were watching the final, and it was just Skibbereen were 7 points up at halftime. A goal just before halftime just gave Skib that extra lead. But Loretto came back so strong in the second half, drew level with 6-7 minutes to go. They had the momentum, but come with the big game player, and it was Maeve Collins who actually got the last gasp winner for Skibbereen, a brilliant point. And I mentioned St. Fochness earlier, and this is one of the lovely links to this story. Maeve's father is Fochness Collins, who was on the Fochness team that won the Hogan Cup back in 1991. Anyone who listens to this podcast might know of Fochness Collins, a force at Island Rovers and Cork football teams over the years. So that's just a lovely connection between Fochness in 91 and the Skibbereen Community School team in 2025. But it just highlights that this is a great story for now, but this is a success story that'll be remembered for years and years to come, because these players will have reunions and so on, and they'll be bound together by this. But no, just a really positive, fantastic, good local West Cork story.
It absolutely is. And even you look at the last few seasons with West Cork LGFA on the rise in the last few seasons, you could some examples. Skibbereen obviously winning the junior and intermediate Munster titles and county titles as well, the junior All-Ireland title. In that now they're a senior club. Castlehaven are a senior club. Clonakilty won the Senior B title as well. You had success stories with Kinsale in the past few seasons as well. Like West Cork ladies football is at an all-time high at the moment. And you even look at them across the board, even look at the Cork ladies team at the moment. I know they're in Division 2, but have got up straight back up to Division 1. They're playing Galway in the final. It seems to be all going rosy in the garden there as well. How crucial is this Skibbereen win to Cork ladies football in general and West Cork ladies football? Because like a win like this could rise the whole profile of the whole thing in Cork ladies football in general.
I think what this is, Matthew, it's just almost a validation of all the great work going on in all the local clubs, and it's the clubs that really should take so much credit for what Skibbereen Community School achieved when they won the All-Ireland, because it's the clubs that have taken in these players and they've given them the tools and the skills and the confidence and the belief to go on and do what they do for their clubs and their county and now for their schools. So Ella Ryan and a ward up in Skibbereen Community School, and Ger Carey, who's involved as well, they're taking in these players from all these various clubs around the region, and they're just piecing together that All-Ireland winning jigsaw. But we talk about the talent. Just a couple of days after Skibbereen Community School won the All-Ireland, you had Kate Carey kicking 4 or 5 points for the Cork Minors, Ava Donovan from Skib kicking 3 points for the Cork Minors in that same game. And that Cork Minor team was captained by Ali Tobin, who's a fifth-year student up at Skibbereen Community School and still only 17 years old. So 3 of the heroes for Skib Community School were leading the charge for the Cork Minor ladies when they won their most recent game last weekend. So it just highlights the kind of, I suppose, the calibre of player in West Cork right now. And that's what this Skibbereen Community School success does. It just shines a torch back on West Cork LGFA, and you're like, Jesus, there's some really super players here, because we've been blessed over the years, kind of with the players that have come out of West Cork. And it's just great to see that conveyor belt is still so strong at the moment. So like you mentioned there, like, O'Donovan Ross have been in the headlines for the last couple of seasons. That incredible rise from junior up to senior. Castlehaven did it before that. Okay, without the All-Ireland success and the Munster titles, but Castlehaven had an incredible rise, the ladies, from junior D, junior C, right up to senior. So it's just, we've seen superb work go in on the ground from the clubs, and now we're starting to see the rewards. And it's Skibbereen Community School that are in the headlines this week, and it's just great to see, because this school is only 9 years old, and I was up there Monday meeting some of the players and meeting Ella Ryan, and just to see the bunting and the flags and the celebration and the buzz, it's just brilliant, because that's the kind of infectious enthusiasm that you just like to see, and that success breeds success. I'm sure the boys' teams up in the school now will be kind of looking across at the girls saying, we want some of that, we want to be in the headlines, we want to get that Southern Star treatment as well. So I just think it's just great for the school and great motivation for what's to come in the years ahead.
Just one final thing as well, and this topic as well, here, just off the pitch as well, like the celebrations coming home from Skibbereen. Like, we've seen some brilliant photos, brilliant footage in the past few days as well of the team coming home in an open top bus. The town paraded, obviously, with white and purple flags all around Skibbereen. It's just brilliant for the whole town, not just for the whole school, but the town is something to cheer about within this team as well. And the town in general, O'Donovan Ross and ladies doing so well, the school now, it's had so much success, and I think they don't want this kind of dream to end.
Exactly, yeah. Like, if you're looking for a town to host a homecoming, it doesn't come much better than Skib, because Skib has had more practice than any town in the country. I wouldn't hesitate to say at this stage, between the Olympic rowers and the O'Donovan Ross ladies in the last couple of years, and now Skibbereen Community School as well. And a special shout out here for Damien Long, who organised that open top bus, and the girls did 2 laps of the town on Thursday night. And just great to see so many fans and friends and family out in the streets to celebrate them, and just give them that welcome home that they deserve. Because what the Skibbereen Community School team has done is they've put this town back on the map again, kind of showing it's a hot spot for football. It's a hot spot for sport in general. But like I said, Matthew, it's one of these just real feel good stories. You can't help but smile when you see the videos from the celebrations. Kind of 4 busloads of fans from the school made a trip up to Nolan Park last Thursday. I think it was 250 or 260 kids from the school were up there celebrating with or watching the girls in action, and then celebrating, and to see them invade the pitch after, that's class to see, kind of. And it's just great to see kind of the young people and the youth of this area just achieving such great things. And like, we ran our Next Generation feature there a couple of weeks ago. There was 32 young sports people from right across the region, and 2 of the sports people that we profiled were Ali Tobin, the Cork Minor ladies captain, who was part of this team, and Kate Carey from Island Rovers, who's a really impressive Cork Minor as well, and she's been a kind of spearheading the Skibbereen Community School attack. So it's just great to see so many young people just moving in the right direction.
Exactly. We have another great feeling West Cork sports story in a little while before a featured interview on this podcast, so stay tuned for that as well. For now, though, there's going to be inter-county action this weekend, a lot of inter-county action to look through, and the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship is returning this weekend, and the Cork footballers are returning in the first week of it. They face Limerick in the TUS Gated grounds this Saturday at 6 p.m. Obviously in Limerick. Cork beat Limerick here by 11 points last year in Super Valley Park Keeve. And to be honest, like in the first half, Limerick were 1 point up, 7 points to 6. Maybe the scoreline flattered Cork a small bit when you look at the margin of the victory in the end of it. Limerick were off the back of Division 4 success winning Croke Park at the weekend. They beat Wexford by 2 points. So maybe they'll be coming into this game with a bit of confidence under their belts. But at the same time, having had a game last week, they're Division 4 side. They were Division 4 side, obviously, this year. You would expect Cork to get over the line, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose Cork are in a no-win situation here, really, because Cork will be expected to win this game and get through to the Munster semi-final against Kerry in a couple of weeks' time. But you have a Limerick side with absolutely nothing to lose. They'll have a bit of momentum coming off the weekend, like you said, winning the Division 4 final. They've got promotion as well, so there'll be this kind of bouncing Limerick step. They'll be going out trying to take Cork's scalp. Like we've been here before with games like this. Like we can almost predict how it's going to play out. It could be tight for X amount of time before Cork, you would think, we kind of pull away in the end. Whether Cork will win by 11 points like last year, it's hard to say. You know, these are tricky games, and it's really more about the result here and just getting over the line rather than the performance. Like you can't read too much into Cork's performance. Okay, we want Cork to play well, to win and play well, to have that kind of momentum going into the semi-final against Kerry. But I just think it's about getting over the line here. It's only a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, in fact, where and I know Limerick and Clare obviously in different places, but Cork went up to Innis to play Clare in the Munster quarter-final and lost that game by a point. You know, and all of a sudden the football has been thrown into the kind of depths of despair again. So this is a banana skin for the Cork footballers, but it's one they should get over. But it's like I know it's not a conversation for now, Matthew, but it's like it's the provincial championships. Like where's the noise, where's the colour, where's the build up to the game? Obviously, apart from Thursday Southern Star, where we have a couple of pages on it. But it's almost like we just finished the league and are straight into the championship. And it's like kind of this game, and John Hayes writes about it in his column on Thursday. Like it just doesn't get the pulse racing, you know. Kind of it's just. But that's why, in a sense, that's why it's so tricky for Cork. So, like I said, Cork need to get the job done and move on.
Exactly, and what you were saying there about the promotion of the game, maybe obviously there is a double-page spread of the Southern Star this week leading up to the Cork and Limerick game. But across the board, and when you look at the league finals were last weekend, I was discussing with many other people in the past few weeks as well. There's not really a gap between the league and the championship. Like you're going from league finals one weekend, championship next weekend, and maybe something needs to be done. Maybe have a spare week for maybe build up, preparation, media interviews, things like that, just to get the pulse, as you said there, get the pulses racing towards the championship. Like it is. Like the Sunday game, the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship is coming back this weekend, and we'd hardly notice unless we were talking about it right now. So it's an amazing kind of a situation we're in at the moment, but it's almost a carbon copy from the last few years in terms of the promotion of the GA championships in general. Would you agree with that, or does something need to be done really?
Yeah, I think the promotion, let's say from the GA kind of at the top level, it's just poor. You know, and you don't even know that these games are coming up. I have to give kudos though to the Munster GA Council, who did have a media day in Killarney last week, to kind of a Munster GA hurling and football championship launch, where they had players from all 6 counties in football and hurling met at Mucker's house just outside Killarney, and there was all players available for interviews. So, like I said, kudos to the Munster GA Council for organising that and supplying photos. It was brilliantly organised. But that's almost the exception to the rule in the grand scheme of things, because, like you say, we're kind of thrown straight into the All Ireland Championships. Like it almost needs a bit of room to breathe. You know, the likes of Mayo going straight from a league final into the Connacht Championship. Do we even need league finals? You know, kind of do we like it? Like, you know, when a team wins promotion or kind of finishes top of the league, should it not be the winner? You know, the team that finishes top of the league. Kind of, are the league finals serving any purpose? If you look at Croke Park last weekend, especially on Sunday, I think it was 20,000 for the kind of travel up for the games on Sunday. You know, kind of we've seen now, I think the Leinster GA are taking their provincial football championship semi-finals out of Croke Park. You know, so we're kind of, that's where we're at in terms of crowd and attendance. And In terms of interest levels, I think the GA have almost rested on their laurels somewhat when it comes to the promotion of the games, and they've done so at the worst time, because there has never been a bigger choice for kids growing up in terms of sport. I'm looking here in West Cork, and it's just incredible the variety and the breadth of sports that are available to kind of kids right across the region now, and that's the way it should be. Kind of the kids have an option to kind of to find a sport that suits them. Like, there shouldn't be one sport that dictates all, and you have to play football or you have to play hurling. That choice is important, but the GA still needs to put their sport in front of these kids to give them that choice. If you look at the growth of rugby for a moment in West Cork, and we'd see quite soon with you were talking to Bandon Grammar, but Bandon Rugby Club had a great win in the under 18.5, under 18.5 Munster Club's boys final the weekend. We've seen Sacred Heart, the girls there, win Munster Senior and Junior Cup doubles. We've seen the Hammies Rugby, Clonakilty Community College Rugby. Rugby's on the rise in West Cork. You can say the same for athletics. The rowing has obviously had an effect as well, so there's so many different choices there. So the GA, they really need to be on their A game to let people know what's happening when it's happening. Like, kind of, how many people out there knew or that aren't involved in football or GA know that the Cork footballers are playing Limerick on Saturday evening? Very few, I guess. And another question, how many are bothered by, in terms of the interest levels, how many people's interest levels have been picked by this? Again, I'd say very few, and we'll see that in the attendance on Saturday evening. So it's something that the GA, I think they really need to up their game on, because as soon as you rest on your laurels and think, okay, we have the market share here, that's when you're going to slip back.
Exactly, and it is a discussion that needs its own podcast in many ways. We could discuss it for years on end, but we will move swiftly on and onto the hurling, which is promoted very well in fairness. Cork and Tipperary are in the Allianz Hurling League final this Sunday at 4 p.m. in Super Valley Park Heave in a sellout crowd on Sunday. And this Cork are hoping to win their first league title since 1998. A bit of a weird stat, obviously. We wouldn't have thought it back then in 1998 that Cork would be in this position, but here we are. It's a crucial game in many ways, Kieran, not only to prepare for the Munster Championship, which is oncoming, and obviously just on a side note as well, the tickets were released, I think, at 12 noon on Wednesday today. And I think each and every ticket is nearly sold out. Like, Clare and Cork, all the tickets have got the clubs and things like that. So the interest level in hurling, particularly in Munster, is at an all-time high at the moment. And this will probably whet the appetite for the Munster Championship, this game between Cork and Tip.
Yeah, it's hard to know how important this game is in the grand scheme of things for the Cork hurlers. Obviously, like you said there, the Munster Championship is coming just down the line, and that's where we can really start to judge Pat Ryan's team. But like he talks in this Thursday Southern Star, Pat Ryan, and he goes, like, the league final, it isn't the be all and the end all. But at the same point, it would be great for this Cork team to win some silverware. And like, that's a point the two of us have been making in this podcast for the last couple of weeks. If someone's tuning in now, they'll probably say, are these two boys still talking about Cork needing to win some silverware? But there is that kind of sense to this. It's in for this Cork team to physically have that something to show, and I think that could be the spark that could push them on to the next level, just to win a final, and have a cup to their name. It's a big game, like you said, it's a packed house. It's ideal preparation for what's to come, kind of. Instead of having a challenge game, you're going to have a good high intensity game this weekend, and it should set Cork up for what's to come down the line. Do Cork need to win it? Yes and no. Yes, for the reason I outlined, as in it'd be great to win it. No, in terms of it's not the be all and end all. But I would obviously be leaning more that Cork need to win it, because we've seen the way almost going to put this, how the pendulum swings. If Cork don't win this at home, all of a sudden you'll have people asking, Jesus, what's happening here? Kind of, I thought Cork would go well. The mood can swing that fast. So I think just for Cork mood, the momentum, and almost for the belief of that group, a win on Sunday would be great.
Exactly. So I was just seeing online there, just had a little peep at the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship odds. Cork have now jumped to the top of them. They're 30-8 according to Paddy Power to win the All-Ireland. Limerick are second at 9-5. Kilkenny third at 7-1. Clare in fourth at 9-1. Clare, the All-Ireland champions, in fourth place. That's unheard of in many ways. But In this league final, does that dim odds for Paddy Power give Cork a bit more pressure on their shoulders to win something? National silverware. I know they won a Munster Championship in 2018. Even that's 7 years ago now. But Cork have won national silverware since 2005. And the reasons you outlined there and why they need to win, and look at the odds there for Cork to have the confidence to go ahead and win the All-Ireland once we fast forward to July. Do they need to win this game, as a matter of fact? Because you look at those odds, if Cork lose on Sunday, many people will be saying, like, Cork, it's typical Cork, they don't do well in finals or whatever. If they win, a lot of people will be scared of Cork going down the line.
The hype train is starting to pick up speed, Matthew. You can definitely see it. It's one of the great sights of the summer when it comes to the hurling championship. That sea of red when Cork fans get behind the hurling team. Like, is there any better sight in the GA? It's just incredible to watch, and you can sense it that Cork obviously came close to the end of the big one last year, and this is a really good team. Like, this team is a really high ceiling. Like, the potential is there, and they've come off the back of losing the All-Ireland final by putting in a really good league campaign and are motoring well at the right time with the bigger tests to come. So you can understand why Cork are the favourites now in many people's eyes. But in one sense, then it's like it's in a dangerous position to be, like you said there, as in Cork are almost being set up to fail in one instant because all the pressure has been put on them. That's why it would be great to win the league final this weekend, like I said earlier, just for the belief and the momentum. I still don't think if Cork lose the league final that all of a sudden it's like, oh God, these lads aren't going to go well in the All-Ireland, because the players are there and the championship is a different beast. It really is. Like, that's where we really need to see Cork perform. You can rest assured that you see Limerick are obviously preparing for that, Clare, Waterford, Tip as well. Like, that's where you can really judge this Cork team. But it's kind of interesting just to watch the narrative around the Cork hurling team right now. But it's almost a kind of a hat tip to what they've achieved. Kind of, they put themselves in that position, but now that they put themselves there, they need to start delivering. And it would be great to see, I suppose, another step forward this Sunday.
Exactly. And hopefully they do get over the line against Tipperary and give themselves the much needed boost for the championship ahead as well. And just to mention as well, the curtain raiser to that double header in Páirc Uí Chaoimh is Waterford against Offaly. That's the Division 1B final. So a packed house in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, that should be some game of hurling, no doubt about it. Before we go to lead into our interview, obviously, there was one rugby story that I'd like to discuss this week as well. Jack Crowley played for Munster against Connacht at the weekend in McHale Park in Castlebar, and played out a starring performance. Got the Man of the Match award as Munster won by 30 points to 24, and that's a great lead for Munster going into their tie in the Champions Cup this weekend against La Rochelle. Obviously, Ronan O'Gara's La Rochelle. So Jack seems to be going pretty well at Munster at the moment, and that was a Man of the Match performance against Connacht at the weekend, and the 51st minute try settled some nerves among Munster fans, and Munster were down to 14 men for over half the game in this game. So it was a good win and good performance by Jack Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley and Jack and Craig Casey had really strong performances. It was a good win for Munster. I know Connacht threatened to come back at the end, but it was just a great occasion. And if we go back to the promotion of the GA for a second that we were talking about last weekend, there was more noise, or more, not noise is the wrong word, more promotion and chatter about Connacht in Munster in McHale Park than there was about the league finals. You know what I mean? As in, the rugby know how to promote, they know how to push the game and stuff. And we saw the colour, like, at McHale Park packed, and it was just a great spectacle to watch. And contrast that to what we saw in Croke Park in terms of, kind of a lack of fanfare, a lack of atmosphere and so on. But okay, that's a side note to what we're talking about now. But yeah, super for Jack, kind of those secrets coming off the back of a tough and challenging Six Nations for him, where he lost his starting spot as a Irish out half to Sam Prendergast. So it's just he's finding form at the right time, especially with that big game this weekend in France. It's always an interesting one, because years ago Ronan O'Gara tried to lure Jack across to France and now Jack's be heading down there to try and knock out Ronan O'Gara's side. So it's kind of that, you've that interesting kind of side dynamic, but it's just a good performance by Jack at the right time. And hopefully we get a good and big performance by Munster this weekend, because that's what we're going to need if we want to get past La Rochelle.
Exactly. So, and hopefully Munster do get to the next round of the Champions Cup after beating La Rochelle. We'll hope that is the case. We'll take a quick break now, and after the break, we'll be discussing some more rugby.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So welcome back to the Star Sport podcast, and in a while we'll be talking to Bandon Grammar coach Philip Murphy about their recent success in the Munster Schools Cup. They beat Christian Brothers College on a scoreline of 20 points to 12 recently, a massive win for all of Bandon Grammar. And added on to the success, Kieran did mention it at the start of the podcast as well, Bandon Rugby Club won the under 18.5 clubs Munster Cup as well. They beat Old Christians on a scoreline of 28 points to 13. So rugby in Bandon was it has been booming over the last few years or months or so, but in the past week or so, it has boomed even more. Like the under 18.5s winning this Munster Cup against Old Christians, and Bandon Grammar win their first ever Munster Schools title against Christian Brothers College, and maybe that will give them the confidence to go on and win a senior title. Who knows? But for now, that's a brilliant achievement for Bandon Grammar.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant for that kind of that Bandon rugby kind of area, kind of that big demographic around Bandon who supply players. It's just been for the grammar school to do what they did. Like this is the school that gave us Jack Crowley, Gavin Coombes from Skibbereen went through. He walked the corridors there. Go back before that, you Darran Sweetnam, who was Ireland or West Cork's first Ireland international. He went to the grammar school as well. So for Bandon Grammar to win the Munster Boys Junior Cup, just a brilliant achievement, and it was celebrated in style. Then a couple of days later for the Bandon Rugby Club to win the Munster Boys Club under 18.5 Cup final against Old Christians. Again, that's such a positive, good story, and great for Bandon Rugby Club. This has been I suppose Bandon Rugby Club has been the leading West Cork rugby club over the last number of years, kind of the winner Munster Junior Cup. I think it was back in 2017, Tom Ferguson, who's still going strong. He was the captain. They've been pushing hard. West Cork's best team in Division 1 of the Munster Junior League, you could say, over the past decade. It's just a really well-run, really, really well-organised club, so that they are reaping the benefits now, like winning a Munster under 18 title. They did Munster under 16 success, I think, just a week or two before that as well. So it's just great to see that hard work is reaping kind of rewards. I know in terms of the philosophy of the club, that's not always the case, in terms of winning isn't everything, kind of they're very much about kind of equal game time and just bringing players through. The philosophy that Bandon Rugby Club has, it's a really credit to everyone involved in that. But it's we're talking about Skibbereen Community School earlier in terms of winning something. I think it's almost that validation for all the work that comes in, the fact that you now have these cups and stuff, and it's just great for the players involved, and it gives everyone a boost and so on. So two really, really positive Bandon Rugby stories between the grammar school and the club, and long may it continue.
Exactly. It is a brilliant story, and hopefully there will be more to come. But for now, we were chatting to Philip Murphy, the Bandon Grammar junior coach, after their Munster Junior Cup win, obviously, and here he is now. So did I be joined on the Star Sport podcast this week by Philip Murphy, Bandon Grammar junior coach, after they won the Munster Junior Schools Cup over Christian Brothers College, 20 points to 12. What a win for Bandon Grammar. I suppose, Philip, what an achievement for the school to win the Munster Junior Cup, first of all.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, we're still floating on air a bit here. Just thrilled and proud, and just kind of enjoying the buzz around the school, and there's kind of an outpouring of Bandon Grammar love the last couple of days. People who have never seen a rugby ball before, people who are big into their rugby, everybody kind of feels a part of it, and that's really lovely,
I suppose just the emotions after the final whistle went, and you knew we were going to be Munster champions afterwards. What was the feeling from the management, the players, the fans, everyone involved?
I like, I suppose, loads of stuff, like delirium, pride, small bit of disbelief, maybe. I suppose when you do anything for the first time, there's just maybe a niggling thing in the back of your head that you're wondering, is there some secret sauce we don't know about, or um, is there something that we just don't have as part of the recipe that isn't getting us over the line? So a lot of satisfaction in kind of knowing that there isn't a secret sauce, that we are kind of ticking the right boxes. So a lot of satisfaction that way, but honestly, just pride. Pride is definitely the big one, and there's people from literally all over the world getting in contact with the school this last couple of days. Australia, Guatemala. There was some fellow watching it down in Guatemala. Just, I suppose we've never really had a chance. If you lose a quarterfinal, you lose a semi-final. You're not exactly giving people a platform to get emotional and dig into their memories of the school and things like that. So it's a really nice platform for people to kind of celebrate and kind of dig into their memories and talk about, their experiences, and that's been lovely.
I suppose even at the game itself, like you were down 12 points to 10 at half time after a try from Christian Brothers on the stroke of half time. What was the feeling going to the dressing room when that happened and when you were down by 12 points to 10? Obviously, the second half, an amazing performance, but initially at half time, what was the feeling inside?
No, we were actually pretty content with the first half. Like, it would have been silly to think that CBC wouldn't come at us. They have so much talent. They're well drilled. And like, part of our preparation is preparing for the hard parts of games. It's not all going to be a purple patch or whatever. So we were actually very happy at halftime. We'd done loads of good stuff. We had executed, we'd scored, we'd got points on the board. We were down 2 points at halftime, but we knew we had the wind. We knew we had a good plan, and ultimately, we knew we had the players. And the lads were cool out. It was totally it wasn't blood and guts kind of beating hurleys off the dressing room wall or anything like that. It was very much just speaking about the things we've been speaking about all year, where we wanted to play. Obviously, we had that win, get the ball down into CBC's half, put them under pressure, try and make a few mistakes, and just get points on the board, get ahead, work hard. It was actually a very, very positive halftime message.
And then the second half, obviously, to get the try midway through the second half. And then even at the end, like when CBC were battering down the door, trying to get a try, and your defence still held solid right until the very end as well. That must be pleasing from your aspect as a coach too, I would imagine.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. So, like, Owen Maloney would have taken the defence side of things this year. And I suppose with that, Jamie Hicks was after giving us an 8-point lead, just scoring that conversion off the maul try, and he had gotten a really good penalty kick just before that. And I suppose that made it a 2-point game, which kind of took away the anxiety a little bit. But yeah, the lads were brilliant, putting bodies on the line, really good technique in their goal line D, and just working hard. Like I said it before, like any team that achieves anything, whether it's, you watch Man City when they were in their pomp and you watch how they played, they just worked like dogs. And yeah, hard work is kind of the foundation for any of these sorts of results. And that was just a continuation of that. The guys being where they needed to be, doing what they needed to do, and just working hard for each other.
And for you, kind of coaching this group of players as well, how much pride, you mentioned pride at the start of the chat as well, but how much pride do you feel in yourself to coach this amazing group of players to win a Munster championship like this?
So like, I'm floating on air as well and all that. But I suppose, look, rugby is very much a tool that we use in the school to give people a good experience, to develop people. We always kind of say like that we're a school that has a rugby program, where we don't necessarily class ourselves as a rugby school because there's a million and one things going on around the place. And I suppose the satisfaction is in that, you have, I think there was 33, 34, 35 lads kind of that train consistently with us all year. And look, they have their memories now and they'll have connections with people, and sport is all about people and all that. But I suppose as a teacher here, as a member of staff here, the satisfying part is knowing that there's really good lads coming out in the end of it that are resilient and they had good structure. And probably my favorite picture of the whole week was there's a couple of great photos of our captain up on shoulders, and there's all sorts of crack going on around him. And I got a photo yesterday, and it's our full back Louis Duclos and Mark. They're sitting in maths class just doing their maths homework or whatever, with the cup sitting in front of them on the table. But that kind of sums up the school. Like, it's as I said, there's a million and one things going on around the school, and we've some brilliant people, brilliant kids, and it's just satisfying that rugby is an instrument to kind of develop those kids, and they're walking around with smiles now, and they're brilliant representatives for Bandon Grammar, and everybody's delighted for them. But that's the satisfying part, really, as a member of staff.
And you talked about kind of the rugby philosophy in the school, and trying to develop players. Like, the school has already had graduates such as Jack Crowley, Gavin, Coombes, Darran, Sweetnam. How satisfying is it for a new kind of new kind of crop of players to come through and be the new heroes of Bandon Grammar?
Yeah, we've loads of heroes here. Really exciting. Like, I suppose, like I've been saying it last couple of days, like, rugby didn't start yesterday or today in Bandon Grammar, and there's loads of work done. But I suppose just being able to put a bit of structure around what we were doing to rugby, like, we kind of put a plan together maybe 4 or 5 years ago, like a really kind of solid plan to kind of dig a bit deeper with our first, second, third years. And I suppose that plan is kind of coming to fruition now. We had a really good junior team last year, really, really good lads. So they're gone into the senior cup setup now. We're just pushing up another really good crop again, and they're all pushing each other, and the standard is going up and up all the time, and belief is going up all the time. But you have to put things in place for all this stuff. You can't just get lucky or anything like that. Like you mentioned, Jack Crowley, James French, like, there's loads of Darran, like, there's loads of lads. And look, all their foundations, I said about the performance the other day, it's all hard work, it's all planning. This stuff doesn't just happen out of thin air,
And you mentioned the Munster Senior Cup team, and does this Junior Cup win in a way give confidence for the school to even go on and win a Senior Cup in the next few seasons?
Of course it does. Suppose, look, we never put a team out onto a field that didn't have belief, but maybe there's a subconscious thing sometimes where, kind of going back to that, Jesus, is there something we're missing? Is there something we're lacking? Will we ever get there? And I think just knowing now that as I said, there's no secret sauce, and that goes for the players too. Say this junior team will be made up of mostly third years. You have a couple of second years, a couple of fourth years as well. But say our seniors, their fourth, fifth, and sixth year, massive for them, massive for the belief. Like, why can't we go do it? Why can't we push on and win a senior cup? There's absolutely no reason we can't.
I suppose, like, even the coaching in the school, like Régis Sonnes has come back into the school in recent years as well. How much of influence has he had in the school over the last few years since he has been back?
Yeah, it's great. Like we're haunted in the school. Like honest to God, we've amazing people that have kind of soldiered with a long, long time. And I mentioned George Bradfield the other day, and all these kind of guys. There's the Collins brothers that have been here with 20 years. Um, just coaches all the way through. There's a million of them that I could mention, but we're really lucky because we kind of see ourselves as a bit kind of like the little village of schools rugby here, that like every single coach in the school has had an input into this team, like a genuinely an on-field input into this team. Um, and kind of everybody having ownership of that is what's really lovely, because they all feel part of this win, and they can get confidence from that too. But yeah, like there's a million people that have helped us here. It's brilliant.
And you mentioned how it means to the school in a previously in the chat as well. And you even seen at the end of the game, the Bandon Grammar fans flocking onto the pitch afterwards. Does that epitomise how much this Munster Junior win means to the whole school in Bandon Grammar?
Without a doubt. Obviously, we're everybody's chatting about it and stuff around the school at the moment, but it's all those kids that aren't involved in rugby that are so excited about it and feel so proud about it. And if you look back in the footage of everybody running onto the pitch, it's rugby players from the other teams, but it's hockey players, it's basketball players, it's the guys who will be in the school musical in a couple of weeks' time. It's people who are representing us in debating. It's people who are rowing with Court McSherry, rowing with Kilmac Simon. Like it is 100% a whole school thing. And just people honestly that wouldn't know that you have to throw a ball backwards in a match, that are just so excited. And that's just gorgeous. Like that's magic. That really is the magic that it's fed into everybody, same in the staff room, everybody's just buzzing. Everybody's absolutely buzzing. And as I said, it's just kind of offered us a canvas to kind of connect more with everybody. And sport is about people, and making those connections is magic.
Exactly so. And I suppose one more final thing I have to mention, like the rise in rugby in West Cork. We've seen over the last few weeks as well, with Sacred Heart Clonakilty winning the junior and senior double in the women's game as well in Munster level. Like, and you look at even the likes of Jack, the likes of Gavin, the likes of John Hodnett from Munster, for example. The game in West Cork is rising to an exponential level, and that could only be good for the game and for the whole region. And obviously, and it feeds into Bandon Grammar too, and other parts of Bandon Rugby Club as well.
It's funny because this particular team is the most West Cork team you'll ever see. Like I was going through the squad, and I hadn't realised it during the year, but we actually have a member from every rugby club in West Cork on the squad. And then we've Carrigaline represented as well, but Kinsale, Bandon, Clon, Dunmanway, Skibbereen, Bantry, like they're all represented, which I just think is phenomenal. And then to add to that, we kind of just for training purposes more than anything, we just for opposition and all that, we've actually trained and played matches against pretty much all those clubs throughout the season as well. So they too have ownership on this win, and they too should feel so proud. And it's kind of creating connection with all those lads as well. And I think that's the way it should be, like it's funny, like rugby and Bandon Grammar is like having a divisional team or something. We're like the Carberry of rugby, like it's mad. And just all those guys out in Dunmanway, all those guys out in Clan and Neely and Bandon, Eddie, like out in Kinsale, they've been phenomenal, and they genuinely are a really big part of it, and it is a big West Cork triumph. And like you spoke about, in general, rugby in West Cork, like with the girls out in Clan, doing insane things. You've Hammies, you have Clanner in a final this weekend, Kinsale in finals. Bandon are playing a huge game this weekend in the under 18 and a half. It's brilliant, like happy days, like it's so brilliant. And I suppose there's always been a strong rugby tradition in West Cork, without a doubt. But there's just kind of a bit of a perfect storm at the moment, and the lads above, like as you said, Jack and Gavin and Darran doing his thing in France, and then you've John Hodnett and all the other lads. It's fantastic. Like happy days, long may it continue.
Exactly. So, and West Cork rugby is exactly on the rise, and it's going to continue to keep rising in the next few years, I'd imagine as well. But for now, thanks very much, Philip, for your time. Obviously, congratulations from all the Southern Star to Bandon Grammar on winning the Munster Junior Cup, and congratulations once again. Thanks, Philip, for your time.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a million. Great to talk to you.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So it is that time of the week again where we look at what's in this Thursday's Southern Star. So, Kieran, we're always saying that it's packed every week, but this week in particular, between the success of Skibbereen Community School, the success of Bandon Rugby, it's packed more than ever this week.
Oh yeah, this is a. I know we're slightly biased here, Matthew, but this is a really, really good Southern Star Sports section this week with something for everyone. Mentioned at the outset that we've in the interview with Brian Hurley. I had a good chat with Brian, who celebrated his birthday this week. I won't give away his age. You'll have to read the Star on Thursday to see what age Brian turned. Actually today, Brian Hurley's birthday. So I had a good chat with Brian about where he is in terms of his Cork career, and I kind of put it to him as in he's seen good and close friends step away from the Cork football team over the last couple of years. Obviously his brother Michael, Mark Collins, and even last November John O'Rourke from Carberry Rangers stepped away, and Jono and Brian Hurley would be quite close. They actually came on the scene together with the Cork under-14s the same season. That's 20 years ago now. So I kind of talked to Brian about, I suppose for him, what keeps him coming back every year, and if he feels conscious that I suppose that there's a finite time on his Cork career, and that clock is ticking. So it's just again with Brian, a really good, open and honest interview. So I think that's well worth checking out. And I also kind of, with the Munster Football Championship kicking off, I highlight Cork's wait for a Munster senior football title. It's gone on since 2012 now. When I asked the question, are Cork any closer to ending that wait? So check out Thursday's Southern Star for that. And John Hayes in his weekly column looks ahead to the Cork and Limerick game as well. Obviously, the Skibbereen Community School girls team get the Southern Star treatment. Of course they should. They're All-Ireland Senior A champions. So we've the homecoming, the match, reaction, and I have a 2-page special on the day itself and the players involved and what it means and so on. I was up at the school on Monday to meet a couple of the players and the coach Ella Ryan. So I really do think that's worth checking out. Obviously, the county football leagues are on the weekend just gone. Haven Newcestown was our feature game. Good win for Newcestown. We've a match report from that and reaction as well. Switching to other sports for a second. The Ireland under-19 women's soccer team is in action this week in Wales. There's qualifiers for the European Championships in Poland this summer, and Niamh Cotter from Bandon is on the Ireland squad. So I caught up with Niamh before she flew out to Wales this week. So games against Serbia, Wales, and the big one against France. So that's best to look to Niamh as she tries to qualify for the European Under-19 Championships. Also, I love the story. The Bantry Under-14, or the Bantry Basketball Club Under-14 girls really put the club on the national map the weekend up with the AICC Championships. So they did incredibly well getting to the quarterfinals of the top competition. So that's there. Castlehaven had their victory social with pictures from that. Obviously, we have news of Bandon Grammar and Bandon Rugby Club's big wins. Clonakilty came up short in their under-16 final. So there's so much in there. It's well worth checking out. And like I always try and say, Matthew, make sure to pick up your Star, because you don't want to be the one to miss out.
Exactly. So, and as usual, if you are further afield or can't make to the shops, you can subscribe to the Southern Star e-paper and get the Southern Star on your laptop, tablet, or phone. Just go to www.southernstar.ie/subscribe, enter your details, and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast, and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back again next week. Until then, take care.